This is part 3 of 4 parts on this 8th grade warm-up. And this part is on equivalent fractions as being equivalent slopes or equivalent constants of proportionality. It is useful for students to see the same slope written in equivalent forms, in other words, equivalent fractions. So I drew a series of lines and I put a point where each of these intersections are. Those are equivalent fractions, same slope, equivalent fractions. Go over that in just a second. Just continue to extend it out, labeled it, and I went one more time out here. So this line here has a slope of 8/5. It is 8/5 of 5, but there's no simplified form. But 8/6 of 6, there is a simplified form, and that's 4/3. So it's right here. This is 1, 2, 3, 4/3. So this length, this vertical length is 4/3 of the horizontal length, and it can be used as the slope because it is equivalent to 8/6. This is 8/7 of 7. There is no simplified form. But 8/8, there's lots of simplified forms. 7/7, 6/6, 5/5, 4/4. Those are all a slope of 1. 8/9, no simplified form. 8/10, there is a simplified form. It's 4/5. So right here, this is 4/5 of 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4/5 of 5. And this is 8/10. So 8/10 is equivalent to 4/5. And 8/12. This is 8/12 of 12. This can be simplified to 6/9. So 3/4 of 12 is 9. 3/4 of 8 is 6. So this is 6/9. Half of 12 is 6. Half of 8 is 4. So this can be simplified to 4/6 and 2/3. So those are all simplified versions, simplified forms of the same slopes along these lines. So just take one as an example. This length is 5 units. This length is 8 units. That's 8/5 of 5. This is 1/5 of 5, 2/5 of 5, 3/5 of 5, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8/5 of 5 is 8. So 8/5 of x. Y is 8/5 the length of x, whatever x is along this line. So if x is 5 units, that means that y is 8 units. 8/5 of 5 is equal to 8. Now if I double each length, it's going to be an equivalent fraction that has the same relationship. It's just the fraction is just written as double each of the coordinates. So that's going to get me out to 10/16. So this is 10 units, this is 16 units. So this vertical length is 16/10 of 10. So 16/10 of 10 is equal to 16. And if this is true, 8/5 of 10 should also be 16. So 8/5 of 10, because they are equivalent slopes, equivalent fractions. So 8/5 of 10, you can rewrite this as 2 times 8. 2 times 8 is 16. So they're both equal to 16. 16/10 is equal to 8/5. Look at one more example. So this vertical length is going to be 8/6 of this horizontal length. This is 6 units, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And this length is 8 units. That's 8/6 of 6, which is the same as 4/3 of 6. 8/6 of 6. This length is 8/6 of these 6 units. So y is equal to 8/6 as long as any value for x. It's 8/6 the length of x. 8/6 of 6 is equal to 8. And 4/3 of 6 is also equal to 8. It's just a simplified form of the same slope. This is 4/3. So this vertical length is 4/3 of 3, which is the same, by the way, as 8/6 of 3. So 8/6 is equal to 4/3. Can simplify the 8 and the 6 to 4/3. So 4/3 of 6 also has to equal 8. 6 divided by 3 is 2. 2 times 4 is 8. So if you double each of these, you're going to get to 12/16. 16/12. Or the point is 12/16. So 16/12 is the same as 4/3. And it's also the same as 8/6. 3/4 of 12 is 9. 3/4 of 16 is 12. So this point right here is going to be 12/9. So this length is 12/9 of 9. 12/9 of 9 is 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.